なあ、それとあいつの気持ちも大事ではあるな。
え？あいつって。
All right, so we're on episode number 7 of Saint's Magic Power is Omnipotent, and this one was called Interlude. Really, it should have been called Intermission, but I think regardless, it was properly named, and it was the kind of intersecting path until we get to the next story arc, which is what Sei decides to do with the marriage arrangement and with her marriage proposal, and basically what happens from here. Obviously, all signs point to Commander Hawk and Mr. Albert, but, things could change because we know that the director here threw his hat in the ring, even though he did it in a very expected way of throwing it out there, then kind of taking it back a little bit. But really, I think he should have kind of put his feelings out there. At the end of the day, the way I think about it is, like, obviously the people around Sei can see that Commander Hawk is commanding the #1 spot in Sei's heart. But, when it comes to love, the most obvious person can not be the one that someone ends up with. That's just kind of the way it is, right? It's like ending up with your first love in life. 95% of us probably aren't with our first love, right? You might not even be with your second, your third, or your fourth love. You might be with your 8th or your 5th or your 3rd, whatever it is. It just tends to happen that way in human tendencies of, like, it just doesn't happen. And when I think about Sei specifically as a character, and I think about her case specifically, it's like she's never really experienced love. She basically, you can tell she pretty much was probably one of those like in the books type of folks in school, probably got pressured a lot, got out of school, maybe went to college, started working, ended up being a corporate slave. She's just had no time for love. So there's a chance that she could have been in love with somebody but wasn't able to feel that reciprocated. Probably maybe never even had a boyfriend or anything before. So like this, Commander Hawks being the first person, let's say it goes that route and she gets married or engaged, it could end up not really working out. Just simple fact of like sometimes your first love simply doesn't work out that way. Also, I have somebody with a leaf blower outside, so if you guys hear that, so sorry. But things end up occurring, that way a lot. And obviously, we all hope. I hope personally that Commander Hawks ends up being the one getting engaged to her, but with somebody else entering in the ring, like our top-notch wizard, or like our director, or the person she works with every day, or somebody else, like there's a chance that it could go in a direction that we all don't expect. At this point, though, Commander Hawk, Albert needs to go in there and lock it down, but we'll see what ends up happening. Outside of really that, this whole episode was surrounding the idea of a arranged marriage. This whole episode was around the idea of the king beginning to talk about what happens to our holy saint after she's kind of subjugated all the monsters, and once her core mission has been complete. What do we do with her? Well, she needs to represent our country still in a certain form and fashion, but she needs to be married to some kind of nobilistic person. So that's kind of really what all this episode was about. Again, it was a very transitional episode into the next arc. And although there were some really cute moments, and, at the end of the episode when the director mentioned, consider his feelings, she kind of like bursted, her saint power bursted all over the screen. Outside of that, though, there really wasn't anything else going on outside of maybe Albert being the chosen representative of the Hawks family between him and his brother. His brother kind of giving him a little sass about that, which I did appreciate. Thought that was really funny. But really, that's all that happened this episode. So really quick and easy review. Loved the episode. I really hope that we don't go down a path of, and, the director hinted at it. He's like, you seem to just kind of want things to stay the same. And, in life, that's just not the way it works. Things just don't stay the same. They never do. They're always changing. Circumstances always change. And she might like the idea of having this, non-harem of men, but the reality is you got to pick one. And I really don't think, even if she did, based on the kind of relationship she has with these individuals, maybe the flirtatiousness drops down a smidge. But for the most part, I think that she'll be able to, keep her friendship the way that she has it. So Overall, those are my thoughts this episode, but like, I hope we don't go down a friend route. But I don't think we will. I think Commander Hawks will end up locking it down. So anyways, let me know what you guys thought of this episode down in the comments down below. And my friends, I'll see you guys next week for the next episode of Saint's Power is Omnipotent, and we'll see on what Sei ends up deciding. All right. See you guys next week, my friends. Peace out.